Hi, this is Nancy Yearout, and welcome to High Road to Humanity. And we have a fabulous guest today who's going to teach us about the Akashic Records. And if you don't know what the Akashic Records are, I'm sure you've all heard of the Book of Life. And so Bill Foss is here today, and he's going to talk to us about how to access the Akashic Records. And I'm so thrilled that he's here today. Before I bring him on, let me just read a little bit about Bill Foss and tell you what he's been up to. Bill Foss is the author of Journey to the Akashic Records. He's also an accomplished international teacher and speaker, studying the Akashic Records extensively for the last 22 years. Wow. Bill has gone to a place of advanced information of the inner workings of the Akashic Records and how to access them and how to integrate this ancient mystical system in our world and lives with some of the most powerful intuitive techniques to be found. Now, ancient civilizations, future realities, past lives, history of the world, inventions, healing, the ascended masters, and the angelic realm are all linked to the Akashic Records. This is going to be a great show, you guys. Now, Bill has taught across the continental US, Europe, the UK, and Mexico for the past 12 years, helping groups and individuals open to greater understandings of who we are and why we're here and where we're headed. Find out how you can access the Akashic Records and your place within creation by working with Bill. Hey, Bill Foss, welcome to High Road to Humanity.
Hey, Nancy, how are you? It's good to be
I'm
here.
good. I'm good. Good to have you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, listen, before we get into this, I've had you on the show before, but for the people that don't understand this, tell your story. How did you first access the Akashic Records?
Well, it's interesting, Nancy. As I came up through my life, I was an artist naturally from the time of being a small boy, and I went into my art for years, and then I got into music. So it was always like really creatively uh, centered. You know, my life centered around creativity, music, art, and then after I kept going with that, I went so far. Finally, I moved out to the southwestern United States where the energy, the earth energy was coming out.
Right.
And I'm sure you know from being in Albuquerque that it's like that. I was in Albuquerque and I started to open there. And then I moved on out to the greater Phoenix area and northern Arizona, that area. And it really opened me. It really opened me. And I started to ask, there's something more. There's something more, and I'm not sure what it is. And this is that big question mark that we've all had, like right over our heads at times in our life. And I dove right in. I dove right into spirituality. I wanted to know it was available in the area. It hadn't been really available at that time. Now it's more available everywhere on the planet, but at that time it wasn't available per se in the Midwest or other places that I had been traveling and touring to. When I got out to the Southwest, I just sort of like activated. It woke me up and said, "Oh, this is what you're supposed to be doing." So I got into yoga, meditation,
Cool.
reading book that I was guided to,
Right.
and Akashic records. And when I found the Akashic records, there was something that I just knew. You know, I couldn't tell you how I knew, but I had this inner knowing. So I had no reference point, and I was just stepping off. You know, I'm
Wow.
basically stepping off and going, "What is this? I have to know." And as I was studying it, I realized that I knew all of it, and I had no reference point for it. So I had to, as I was relearning, reintegrating, changing my life, and moving in a spiritual direction, I had to, I had to really recenter, recalibrate, and just create my life anew and create my experiences of all of the experiences of working in the Akashic records
Mhm.
from that time forward.
You know, and I think it's cool. You've written all these books, and just so you guys know, you can get Bill's books. He has volume 1, 2, 3. We're going to go over some of the different books he has. And I've had him on the show before with volume 1. We're going to kind of be focusing on volume 2 today. And just so y'all know, everybody can access your Akashic Records, and it's something I'm working on. I read your book, volume 2. I didn't get through the whole thing, but I got through most of it. But what I really liked is, as you go through volume 2, you go through this simple meditation as you enter the Akashic Records, what it looks like. And it's repetition throughout the book, kind of getting us in the mode of feeling what it's like to access our own records.
Yes, that's interesting, Nancy, that you picked up on that.
Yeah.
The dynamics of the records themselves. And here is the second book.
There you go. All right. Thank you. I ordered them from Amazon, but I got to tell you, Amazon's a little slow because I ordered them like a month ago and I still haven't gotten them, but it's just how the world is today, you know?
Well, you can order from my site too.
Nice. What's your site, Bill?
It's billfoss.net.
All right.
And
BillFoss.net, you guys.
it'll go out priority.
Cool. I know I should have ordered them from you. I ordered all these books from Amazon and I still haven't gotten them. So I ended up downloading it like a lot of us do on Kindle, and I read it on my computer, the last couple of days. But Bill,
Wow.
so y'all can do that. The Akashic Records, and I wrote a lot of notes. It's a library system, you say, that's part of heaven.
Right.
And I like that. I like that.
Yeah, thank you. The main thing about the Akashic Records in our time, in the current times that we're in on the planet, this is an ancient part of heaven that has been lost.
Right.
It's part of our it's part of our original history that has been lost. And everyone has a soul, and everyone's soul is connected into heaven, and everyone's soul is connected into heaven through the Akashic Records. And you have the unalienable right to connect with your soul through the Akashic Records and get information continually. So in this day and age where there's so much electronics and EMF and everything else going on that we know is going on currently,
Right.
it can be a little disconcerting,
Right.
but this connection deep into your soul records is something that I feel is like really important. It's the mainstay to the activation of humanity,
Right.
to the extension of humanity, and really it's like bringing the soul energy down to the earth plane
Right.
and connecting your soul, because the more that I work with people, I find that people are often disconnected from their soul energy. So we do Akashic work or we do shamanic work. And that's what I write about in the books, Nancy.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I just learned so much. And, just so y'all know, Bill will do an Akashic reading for you. You can contact him through his website. And he does it for an hour. I had it done. I had him do my records and it was amazing. Now it's like, it gives me motivation, to be honest with you, Bill, to do it for myself, because now it's like, well, there's more I want to know, but I can't call Bill every time I want my records read. So now it's like, okay, step up, Nance, do your own records. So it's motivational. And you learn so much. And just like you said, it's almost like it brings a peace. To your soul, to know that there's more than this and you've done more and there's reasoning behind all of your life, if that makes any sense.
It makes perfect sense, Nancy.
Yeah.
The awesome thing, like you're talking about going into your own records, and
Yeah.
practice. The cool thing about it, and what spurred me on when I got into practicing, is you get, you know, you get the dynamics and you have readings done, you get the information, you get connected to your soul through the records, and you get the information that's the template and the setup. And then you go in and you start getting your own pieces, and they start coming through dreams, visions, inner knowings, moments, reflections, and deep meditations where you ask to be shown. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
main thing, is just asking to be shown.
Right.
When you get those pieces in the records, it's powerful because you're getting for yourself something on the inner that no one else can give you.
Right.
And I often find that once you get that, then other people may pick up on it,
Yeah.
readers or intuitives or friends that are intuitive, they'll start referring to that. Well, I think that, this and this and this, and you already had this inner knowing. So it's an interesting connection.
I think it changes your energy. It changes the dynamic. Actually, once you're confirmed on some of these things, you say it's a library, and we've got a couple minutes before break. But I want to just ask really quick, why do you call it the Akashic Records instead of the Book of Life? That was one of my questions.
Well, the Akashic Records is the name that's referred to the whole library.
Okay.
It's a way station of souls as part of heaven, you
Okay.
know. And the word Akasha means, it literally translates in the ancient dialects as Sky Library. So
Sky
your book of
Library.
life, your book of life is your personal set of Akashic records.
Okay. Oh, well, that
Within,
makes sense. Okay, I understand. I understand. So it's my
yeah,
book of life, but the library itself is called the Akashic Records.
right, right.
Okay, that makes sense. Now I want to understand something. So when we die, or even before we come here, we go to the Akashic Records to decide what we're going to work on and see our past lives. And then the same thing happens when we come back, correct?
Yes, yes. It's this continual cycle that we go through. So let's say you or I or anyone else will move through this lifetime and transition at the end of the life. And our soul, which is with our astral body, then your astral body is a direct template of your physical body.
Right.
So, and your chakras will go with your astral body because they're part of your energy body. Your
Yes.
chakras, your mind field, and your emotional field. So literally, you are going everything that you know, feel, think, do, and say. That's all going with your astral body as you drop the physical body, and you'll go up. That's connected with your soul together, and you go into the records.
Right.
You retain your knowing. You
Okay,
retain.
listen, I'm going to stop you there for a second. We're going to continue on after break here. We've got a quick break and we'll be right back. Hey, you guys, we're here today with Bill Foss. He is, I tell you what, he's amazing as far as reading the Akashic Records. This is Nancy Yearout, and this is High Road to Humanity. We'll be right back. Hey, it's Nancy Yearout. We're here with Bill Foss today. We're talking about your book of life, the Akashic Records. And Bill, you were telling us, and I'm sorry I had to interrupt you there, but we had to go to break. But you're telling us how it happens that your soul and your body go into the Akashic Records. Your body's gone, but your soul's there. Continue on with that, would you?
Okay. Yeah, sure. So your astral body is the direct template of your physical body, and the chakras house. You're going to have your emotions, all of your feelings, and all of your thoughts from your mental field intact with the astral body and with the soul field, and that's going to move up into the records. And you may linger on the earth plane, so often people will, some people even get caught on the earth plane. That's a different story.
Right.
For everyone that goes into the light, we go up to the records. We retain who we are. So it will be Nancy as Nancy
Okay.
going to the records. It will be Bill as Bill going up to the records, and everyone else when we step to the other side. So it's like this transitional time that we get of really getting to start taking a look at everything that we've just been through in life here on the planet.
Right. Like what we've learned, what we haven't learned,
Yes.
what we came here to learn, that type of thing.
And of course, it's going to feel like heaven. There's not, if people have pain or stress or tension, all of that stuff it's going to leave, because the nature of the universe is divine love. It's pure love. And so we move up into the higher dimensions, we go into the records. Now, after we're there for a while, before we come back down, that's when the astral body starts to be absorbed into the soul field, and we start to become the divine celestial soul that is Bill, or the divine celestial soul that is Nancy.
I see.
That was Nancy. And then we come back down again. Uh, they have to reset us. Many people wake up and have total recall, but not everyone does. It would be too overwhelming for most people. So
Okay.
for all practical purposes, we do like a kind of a slow wake up, or we reawakening once we get here and we get in the right place.
I understand. And the cool thing is, you guys, you can access your past, your present, and your future. And that I find really interesting. Because you can access the future, I'm going to ask you a couple things today. Just because I want to know. Have you, yeah, because I want to know, Bill. Since you're with me today, and I know this COVID-19 is affecting everyone across the globe, have you gone into the records to say, hey, what's going on here? Are you able to pick anything up?
There's a lot going on, Nancy. You're right. And as we're writing this, we're literally writing this. So let me let me parlay it to a lot of the superhero movies that have been out. What happens in all of the Hollywood movies? It's good versus evil, light
Right.
versus, and the dark is going to take the good right up to the threshold, and then either the good guy or the superhero or whoever is going to go, that's it, I've given all I can of myself, I've done the good, I am the good, and this isn't right, and boom, you're done. So
Okay.
that's what that's how I see it playing out. When I go into the records and I look at everything long term, I um, I get this sense that humanity is coming to a place where we're waking up. We're waking up slowly, and as the energy, the universal waves of energy are coming in, they're waking us up. So we've seen a lot of dark stuff coming out on Facebook, on the internet, a lot of very uncomfortable things that we're starting to know about
Hmm.
people that have been operating and controlling the world.
Behind the
And
scenes, right.
actually, a lot of it's quite frightening to people.
Right.
So this is part of that opening of humanity, where we realize that that's part of the darkness of the collective.
So we're starting to see the darkness. That's the wake up. The people are starting to realize that this was all a ruse, and they're starting to see the real deal. Is that what you're saying?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Now, at that point, this is where there are already agencies and people and those those galactic beings of light that are here to help us from beyond. The angelic realm is on call 24/7, and there's a lot of powerful angelic activity around the planet right now, as
Right.
well as everybody's guides on the other side.
Yeah, and I'm
And
going to stop you there for a second. You guys,
sure,
just so y'all know, you can call on the angels, but you have to call on them. So if you're in a spot, and there's a reason I'm saying this, if you're in a spot, don't forget to call on the angels and ask, because they can't help you unless you ask. Okay,
right,
continue on, Bill.
exactly. And the same is true with prayer. You know,
Yes,
asking in prayer is like, and ask from a deep, from a deep feeling.
right.
Trust it, and just be in your heart and say, hey, you know what, I'm feeling down today, I'm scared, I'm go into that emotion, and put that call out and say, I need your help. And every time that I've done that, they have came, they've come, they've helped to uh, continue to move my mission forward with what I'm doing, and they'll support each and every one of us in the most powerful way possible. And prayer too, of course, and this is manifesting. This
Now,
is man.
yeah, I wanted to ask you too. Now I'm seeing tornadoes, the last couple days. I saw tornadoes on Easter and tornadoes last night ripping across the South. Is this part of this? Is this part of this dark?
Well, no, not necessarily.
Okay.
But it is part of the times we're in where the energy is rising and Mother Earth is starting to cleanse herself.
Is that what this is? Okay.
Mother Earth is cleansing. That's what's going on with the earthquakes. Um, she's kind of like shrugging a little bit and moving and stretching and going, ah, you know,
Yeah.
taking a deep breath and exhaling the dark, uh, the energy that she needs to release as her energy is moving up in vibration also.
Okay.
So the strange thing about hurricanes, and I want to say tornadoes specifically, tornadoes, I've seen tornadoes hit in places where the people are more emotionally asleep, or they're just like churning on like old, dark, lower energies over and over.
Okay.
And it comes in, it's almost like an emotional vortex of anger. So this angry energy comes in and it just clears everything out. I've actually worked with the energy of tornadoes before, and
Wow.
out of necessity,
Yeah.
in clearing tornadoes, by sending love and actually just asking it as its own entity, because that's what it becomes. Just like when we have anger, a charge of anger in the energy fields of the human body, uh, it becomes its own energy. It becomes an energy that we can't let go of. We keep processing over and over and over.
And that's what a
And
tornado is. It's that energy
it,
swirling, swirling, swirling.
right. And it
Okay.
takes on its own entity. So yes, it's part of creation and part of God, but it's its own entity in nature. And you can talk to it and just say, hey, you know what? Uh, Sending it love. And it takes a lot of energy to work on that level. I don't recommend just saying, please move in the other direction and move away from us, because there's so much power involved that
Right.
it could, like, take out another part of town or something like that.
But if
So
a group prayed as they knew a tornado was approaching and focused on love, it could it will impact that tornado and
yes,
how it affects.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Love is the answer for everything.
I agree. I agree. Now, do you think with everything going on, that the wake up, I feel like the wake up is happening. What's the timeline? What do you think?
I think we've just really stepped into it. I mean, I feel like we've been moving slowly towards this for years.
Right.
And I think we've entered what they're referring as the age of Aquarius. So we're going to see a lot of changes, in answer to, a further comment to one of your other questions, as you're talking about everything that's going on with the COVID, I think that I think it's going to go up to a certain point, and the forces of light, Creator God, and the souls, as part of Creator God and the light, are going to say, that's enough.
Right.
I think it's going to move back, and we're going to return. So there's been a lot of skepticism and speculation that this is the end of the world and we're going down, and everybody's getting shipped, and we're all having to take vaccines and all of that. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. We
Okay.
need the light and stay in this love and stay in this openness. It's like being it's like being between the light and the dark, and saying, we are the divine souls, and we are from the light, and we are part of God. And even though we're experiencing all of this, we are not here to play things out in the old ways, in the dark ways of the medieval times of war and
Hmm.
torture, death and desolation, all of that. This is the time.
To
Uh,
change.
this is the big change.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah.
goodness. We have good things coming.
I know, I'm
So,
excited. I'm actually excited about that. We've got 1 minute to break. And before we go to break, I want to mention something that I saw on television this morning. I was watching the news just to catch up, and I saw this gigantic rainbow across New York City yesterday.
uh,
And Yeah, and I saw that and I thought, wow. And I actually I took a picture of my TV screen and I posted it on Facebook and said, this is God's way of letting us know that he's out there and he's watching over us. And man, if you guys get a chance, Google it or check it out, because there is this fantastic gigantic rainbow and it's all the way across New York City and it's a total sign. I swear to you it is. So anyway, listen, this is Nancy Yearout. I'm here today with Bill Foss. We're getting ready to go to break. I hope you'll join us right back. His book is called The Akashic Records. This is Nancy Yearout. We'll be right back. Hi, it's Nancy Yearout, and welcome back to High Road to Humanity. I'm here with Bill Foss. Gosh, Bill, we've got so much to talk about today. What would you like to talk about? What would you like to tell the audience?
Well, I would like to, as always, you know, um, just encourage people to go within and take this time where where a lot of us are homebound in certain areas are it's being required for people to be in their homes. Uh, Take this time to reflect, go in and do the spiritual work. Sit down and get quiet. So it's taken us a little while to really, shift gears and go into low gear. And let's take this time right now to reflect inwards and take inventory in life and say, where am I? Who am I? Where do I want to be within myself? And, you know, go into the love and pray and connect and cultivate a deeper spiritual time for yourself. I think that's really important right now. We have the best opportunity has been given to everybody.
I
So
know.
one of the silent blessings was like, oh, all of the families are going to be united. Everybody's family is going to be united, and you're going to stay together, and you're going to love each other. You know,
No matter what.
you know so, and I would like to encourage everybody to practice prayer, practice meditation, practice gratitude, practice manifesting, uh,
Mhm.
pray for the planet. And if you're into things like Akashic records or different forms of healing, this is a great time
I
to
know.
connect with all of that. This is a great time to practice going into the records. This is an important time to practice going into the records. So that being said, I'm here for everyone if I can help you in any way with helping you to connect the dots.
Right. I agree with you. I think this is a blessing. I don't look at it as a curse. I look at it as a blessing because it has what else would have brought people home to stay home, to say, sit still. And so I know a lot of lives are lost, but you need to look for the good in this. And the good is that we are waking up and we are starting to pay more attention to what's going on out there. In prayer, I think, yeah, is so powerful. You talk about the different vibrations going into the different dimensions. We're in the third dimension. We're trying to rise up to a higher dimension, a higher energy. Can you speak to that?
Yes, absolutely. We let's look at it in a practical way. Let's say many of us, you and I and everyone else, when we've been on our spiritual journey, we will go so far. So there's an expansion and a contraction that happens within the energy fields, within the soul, within the inner energies of the body. So we'll push the norm and we'll say, okay, I want to I want to go all the way. I want to raise my vibration, or I want to, really connect up and out and expand and ascend and everything. And so let's say somebody does that. Let me give just a practical example here. Let's say somebody does that and do all this spiritual energy work in a short amount of time. And then the next thing they know, half a day later, things start falling through the cracks. They're like in physical reality. They're like, oh, they were late for something, or I forgot this, and I have to take care of that. And somebody said something and it threw us off. So we contract again.
Okay.
So this expansion contraction needs to become more rhythmic. So it's like this instead of sporadic like this.
Natural, like a natural. We get to do it every day.
Right,
It's like
right.
meditating every day.
It's radiating. It's meditating and
Yeah.
radiance, radiance of the soul. Yes, yes, Nancy.
Okay.
So,
That makes
mhm,
sense. Now,
mhm.
everybody, and I'm addressing some of the things that are just happening in the world because I think it's really important. And I'm thrilled to have you on today. So I get to ask you all these cool questions. But with everything going on in the world today, with the economy, the big thing right now is when do we open the economy? And I think everybody is worried about um, how things are going to go. Now, personally, I haven't felt fearful, and maybe I'm just so I just know God's got a plan and I'm going with it. And you're probably like that too. But there are a lot of people out there who own businesses who are going, wait a minute. Um, Although I've heard a lot of people say, well, God's protecting me and I'm good. So what's your feel on the whole economy coming back? Have you picked up anything? Have you gone into the records to look, or what do you feel?
I think there's two things. So individually, let's look at it old school, like
Okay.
a three-dimensional, and this is kind of the separation in the energies that they've been talking about, the 5D, the two worlds or the two earths,
Okay.
uh, that some people have alluded to in some of their metaphysical books and studies and talks. Um, if we take hook, line, and sinker and go, oh my God, I'm losing everything. I don't have. I'm going to lose my house, my job, the place of my business, everything. Guess what we're doing?
We're
We're
creating it. Yeah.
we're manifesting. We are vibrating, and there's such a charge of energy in you that it literally, the reality says, well, we've got plenty of that available for you if you want that.
Yeah.
you know so
Yeah.
it's really important to just sit still. It's really important to take a deep breath, sit still, and go, hey, you know what, everything's going to be fine. We're taking a nap right now. Collectively, we're taking a nap, and when things get moved around and shift around, we come out of it, we deal with it as we have to. We
You
deal
know,
with it as,
yeah, I
and
agree. I agree. I feel like June things will be start to get better.
I think so too. I think we're going to come out of April. I think we're going to come out of the end of April here. And I think that with the warmer weather, and come on, sun,
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
uh, as we get the warmer weather happening, I think we're looking at a couple weeks into May, and then I think everything really starts to open up. I know the president wants to really get things moving and opened up as soon as possible. So
Right. Right.
uh, they, there's a lot. The one thing is we're getting information from our social media sources, but we have to know that there are people that know what's going on a deeper level than we do. And there are people working for the good to solve all of this stuff right now. And they're ahead of the ball game and have the curve on it. So it's not just a what if, and we're all kind of at the throes of, there are, and this is God at work. This is the forces of light, the angelics, the angelic realm, the archangels working for the power of good of humanity. So they're on it. So all we need to do is we need to finish our time here, finish our nap time while
Hmm.
everything is, as everything opens back up. I think we're looking at the end of April into May. Um, and yeah, I think by June, everything's going to be fully back up and running,
Yeah,
Nancy.
I feel that too. I told my
Yeah.
husband that. I say I predict May 10th we're going to open back up, and then June will be good. Yeah, a lot of people
Okay.
are panicking
Here,
huh?
Nancy said May 10th.
I
Okay. Well,
did. I did. Well, I'm a psychic too, so I can tell you what I think.
right, right. Right.
Yeah, I haven't panicked so much through this, and I guess, you know, when you're close to God and you're close to the divine, you know there's a plan and you know he's in charge. And I just believe that the light will, and it will, the light always conquers the dark. So no
Hmm.
matter what dark forces are out there, the light is going to win. And I do believe there's dark forces fighting us, but I don't worry because God is powerful and he will make sure that we're okay. What's your feeling on that?
I think so too. I
Yeah.
mean, we need to hold the light and be who we are. You know, the universe. You know, I've heard friends say Mother Earth is just doing what she's doing. One of my associates in the field was mentioning this the other day. I was like, yeah, that's right. And the universe is doing the same thing. The universe is doing what it needs to do. So all of this light, dark, uh, you know, there are people on the planet, and there are monks that are beyond all of this.
Yes.
There, I mean, where they're just like, and they've been beyond it before any of it ever started coming up on this level. So they're not having to necessarily experience that duality in the same way. Um, the universe has a plan. So if we're able to look at it like if we're able to go to like a God level or a really really higher dimension and say, okay, there are there's the light and the dark. I like the way that Dolores Cannon in some of her books referred to all of the dark and evil. She said it's just misguided or misdirected energy.
Oh, I like
So
that. Yeah.
yeah, so it takes the charge out of like the dark evil stuff and says it's just misdirected. You know, um,
Hmm. Well, I like what you said to me the other day. You said light doesn't cast any shadows. I
right.
like that because that's the truth, you know?
The, the
I
sun
love
the sun shines on everything.
That's right. That's right. Hey, listen, we got about 1 minute to break, and we're going to talk more with Bill about the Akashic Records. I want to talk about when we come back. I hope you'll talk about going up in the records and what it looks like up there, because you do a wonderful analogy in your book and a wonderful meditation for us. And so maybe you'll talk about that when we come back.
Sure.
Okay. All right. You guys, this is Nancy Yearout. I'm here today with Bill Foss. His books are the Akashic Records. He has volume 2, volume 3. I've ordered them all. I'm really excited about what he does,
Thank,
and y'all can do it too. And go ahead, Bill. What?
I was just saying thank you,
Oh,
Nancy.
you're very welcome. You're very welcome. This is Nancy Yearout. This is High Road to Humanity, and we'll be right back. Hi, it's Nancy Yearout, and we're back here today with Bill Foss. This is our last segment today, and hopefully you'll share this show with lots of people because this is some fantastic information that Bill's given out to us today. And I asked Bill if he talked to us about what it's like up there once you get into the records, because it's very magnificent. I was really impressed when I read the book about the stained glass windows and the mosaic floor. Will you kind of take us through that, Bill?
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Uh, in the second book, the intermediate, How to Read the Akashic Records, Volume 2, basically what I did is I started the meditation process, and we'll go through. When I teach people to go in the classes, there are multiple different ways to get into the records, but the classic way is to project up from the third eye, from the crown, from the face, this part of the body, and project up into the records and have an experience there. Look around, have a visual journey with your
Mhm.
senses, and then come back down and reintegrate and, and then process. So when we go up and we go into the archetypal imagery of the records, and we have to remember that everything on the other side in these higher dimensions is very real. When
Yeah.
we're here in physical reality, we think, oh my God, this is the real world. And when I die, I'm just going to be like energy and there's not going to be anything. When we go to the other realms, when we go to the higher realities, it is very real. It's very real, and there's no death there. This is
I
the
know.
only reality that experiences death. So we go up into, so we project up into a great hall, and it feels like heaven. There's energy because it's the higher dimensions, and we're in heaven. And also, the Akashic Records is a library for the souls. So you're going to feel that really soft, deep, uh, almost fluid, very quiet and peaceful, loving feeling of the soul. And you're going to feel that when you get into the records. Also, it's all made of energy, so it's all moving with energy. It's
Yeah.
interactive.
I found that
So
interesting. Yeah.
yeah, so when we get in there, we go from the front doors to the mosaic floors to the stained glass windows and in the book, and we look at the mystical mirror, we look at the book of life. All of these things are vibrating with energy, and the more you look at it in the records, you're tuning into the energy of the records with your soul, and it's going to be easier and easier and easier for you to get back there and to have an interactive experience.
Right. I wanted to ask you about the mirror. You talk about a black mirror which casts no reflection. It's a responsive
Mhm.
portal of your own vision. And you can say you can even practice this with the scrying mirror. Talk about that a little bit, if you don't mind.
Okay, so there's a couple different reference points with this. When in ancient times, back in Celtic times, uh, the Scandinavians, the Celts, uh, and even the Egyptians, they would use like obsidian. They would use obsidian or another black polished rock to look at, to look into, to, and this is, let me give even a more practical example. If you close your eyes at night when you're going to sleep and you just see black, you just see black, and focus on that black, and then focus on bringing things out of the black. So focus on bringing light out of the dark. And that's what the mystical mirror in the Akashic Records is about on an archetypal level. So we go in and we're looking at the book of life, and what we have is we have a window or a portal to the soul
Okay.
that that's set up there, uh, that we've inaugurated basically in these uh, guided journeys, so that when you get in there on a soul level and you're directed to look at it, then God, your guides, the keepers of the records can say, ah, let us turn on the Akashic Records intervision for you. So the Akashic Records intervision, when it actually comes on, it won't, you know, you won't need that black mirror anymore. You
Okay.
know, okay?
Okay.
On down, well, when you're in the advanced levels of reading, you'll just go in and you'll see an HD TV screen that is literally giving you energy on a soul level so powerfully that when you come out of the guided journey, you're going to feel energized. You're going to feel like more alive, more healed, more clear, and responsive in your body than you have probably in a long time when you connect on that level. So that's something to look forward to.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Obviously, you can go into other people's records. Do you need to ask permission?
I think so. I mean, I think it's just the right way, to do things.
Well, yeah, but I'm just wondering, can I access everybody's records or can I just access my own? Or if I have a person I'm doing a reading and I say, hey, I'd like to access this person's records, then I'm
Yeah.
allowed. I mean, how does that work? Do they control
Well,
that?
let me give another example in answer to that. So there are people out there that are, let's say, maybe somebody that's practicing advanced qigong, or they're just on this like super, like they've just been moving their energy out and connecting with nature and reality and the universe. Then they can have natural information available to them about people. The thing is, what are you going to do with it? If
Right.
somebody and the good at that higher vibration, they don't need it. I mean, they can give it if they want. When you're in the records and you're working on this level of looking in someone's soul records, if you're doing it without permission, there is karma involved.
Right. Okay.
There is karma involved with that. But let's say, for instance, if you receive information for a family member or a loved one or someone that you know, because they're in a compromised situation, I think it's totally fine. I think
Okay.
it's looking on that level.
To do that.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey, we've got probably about 4 minutes left here today on the show. I want you to promote yourself. Tell people about your books, what they should do first, how to get in touch with you, all that information that's really important, Bill, and where you're going to be. I know you do workshops, so promote yourself a little and tell us if you have a workshop, where we find you, that type of thing.
okay. Well, thank you, Nancy.
Yeah.
I am doing an online webinar series that's going to be available April 19th, April 26th, and May the 3rd. And those are all three the next Sundays. It's $39 a class for a 2-hour class, or it's $111 for all three classes together.
Okay.
So you can find that on billfoss.net, and that's available. If you'd like to see me in person, we have a workshop in June that is in Nashville, Tennessee. And that's the next live workshop, and it's going to be called Healing with the Akashic Records. We do have seats available for that, so I'd like to get people signed up. And I think towards the end of April, hopefully everything will open up to the point where people will say, okay, yes, I'd like to be part of the live class. The books are available online. I would recommend Journey to the Akashic Records and How to Read the Akashic Records. That each one of these series has powerful information in it. So I would go to the site and see what you're guided to and start there. If you order it, I'll send it right out to you, or you can order from Amazon. I do have plenty of stock available, and I send out everything priority mail. In starting, I usually find that an Akashic Records session itself is the way to start. Some people know what they need. Some people say, I need healing, I know I need clearing, I know I need this, and they go right to it and they'll click on it. But if you don't know, contact me and I'll help guide you through it. And I would most definitely start with an Akashic Records session, because it's going to give you information, powerful information moving forward in life, and an activation to connect you into your records.
Yeah, I'm gonna promote Bill here, because he did a reading for me, or I do readings. I'm a psychic, but Akashic Records is a little different. I haven't accessed them, so Bill did that. But now, like I said in the beginning of the show, I want to do it myself, and I know we all have the capability, don't we, Bill?
Absolutely, it's our divine nature. It's our divine gift.
So once you guide us through, it makes it a lot easier.
Yes, and when you go into the records, it will help you with your intuitive abilities. It's not only going to help you with the Akashic Records, it's going to help you with your intuitive abilities. It's going to help you with your psychic abilities. It just starts to fine-tune everything.
I think that's fantastic. What's your family think about all this? We got about 1 minute to the end of the show, but I want to know, do you do readings for your family, or are they always asking you to access the records, or how's that worked out?
You know, it's interesting. Before my dad passed in 2015, he asked me one day, he came to a shop that I had there in a small town, and I had like a working art studio. And he said, I want a reading.
Oh my goodness.
Said, what? And he said, I'm reading. And I said, okay. And he said, you know why you're psychic? And I said, why? He said, because I'm psychic.
Oh my gosh. Did you know he was psychic before?
He always talked about it over the years, but everybody, one of those things where the rest of the family said, oh, you're nut, you're nutty, you're being nutty.
Yeah.
But the rest of the family, they honor it. They honor that, that I'm out in the world helping people and being proactive, and that I really, really mean well. They
Right.
don't understand. They're mostly from a Christian background,
Right.
uh, and they don't understand that it's all connected. But they honor what I do.
Right.
They're
Right.
they don't think it's necessarily dark or anything like that.
Right. Well, they
They
know
know
you're a good soul. They know you're a good soul. Hey, we got to convert. I'm a Christian too, but you got to kind of open your mind and expand and realize all this stuff is connected, right? Right?
I was raised Lutheran, and you know, it's interesting. We start out in a certain way, and then we circle out into the universe of possibilities and metaphysical studies. Once we gather all we need, we come back and we feel more comfortable within ourselves and with everything around us. So,
There you go. Hey,
yeah,
listen, Bill, we got to go, but it's been a pleasure. And thank you for
thank
joining us on the
you,
high road.
thank you, Nancy.
I hope you'll come back again. All right, you guys, this is Nancy Year Out. This is High Road to Humanity. And everyone have a terrific week, and we will see you next week. Take care.